Ranking afterlife theories from worst to best is ultimately a philosophical exercise rather than a scientific one, because none of them can be verified in advance. What can be evaluated, however, is how coherent they are, how well they address human fears and hopes, how ethically meaningful they are, and how psychologically sustainable they would be if true. This ranking is not about which theory is most comforting, but which one offers the most internally consistent, meaningful, and humane account of existence beyond death. Worst, in this sense, does not mean frightening, but shallow, contradictory, or existentially limiting. At the bottom of the ranking is eternal conscious torment, the idea that some individuals are punished forever with no possibility of change, growth, or release. This theory fares poorly because it collapses under ethical and logical scrutiny. Infinite punishment for finite actions violates any proportional moral framework, and it reduces moral life to fear-based compliance rather than genuine ethical development. Psychologically, it portrays existence as a high-stakes trap rather than a meaningful journey, and it renders compassion incoherent by normalizing eternal suffering. Even from a narrative standpoint, it is stagnant. Nothing new can happen, no learning can occur, and no transformation is possible. A universe that culminates in endless torture is not only cruel but dramatically empty, offering no reason for consciousness to exist at all beyond serving as fuel for punishment. Slightly above that is oblivion-only materialism, the idea that death is complete and permanent non-existence, with no continuation of awareness in any form. While this theory is internally consistent and intellectually honest, it ranks low because it renders all existential meaning temporary and ultimately self-erasing. It does not fail logically, but it fails narratively and psychologically. Consciousness becomes a brief chemical accident that vanishes without resolution, making love, growth, and moral struggle feel cosmically irrelevant. While many find comfort in the finality of this view, it offers no answer to why subjective experience exists at all, nor why humans are driven to seek meaning beyond survival. It explains how we die, but not why consciousness was present in the first place. Above that sits static paradise, the concept of an eternal, unchanging bliss where all desires are fulfilled forever. While far more pleasant than punishment or annihilation, this theory suffers from philosophical stagnation. An unchanging state, no matter how pleasurable, eventually strips existence of contrast, growth, and narrative tension. Without challenge, learning, or the possibility of loss, identity itself becomes questionable. Who are you when nothing can change you? Static paradise assumes that satisfaction is the highest possible value, but it ignores the fact that meaning often arises from striving, uncertainty, and transformation. Eternity without development risks becoming not heaven, but a beautiful kind of existential paralysis. Next comes cyclical reincarnation without memory, where consciousness is reborn endlessly but with no continuity of identity or remembrance. This theory improves upon oblivion by preserving continuity of consciousness in a broad sense, but it weakens personal meaning by erasing memory and agency. If you cannot remember past lives or learn from them, the cycle becomes morally and psychologically inefficient. Growth may occur on a cosmic scale, but the individual self is functionally disposable. This view can feel comforting in its rhythm and fairness, yet frustrating in its impersonal nature. It suggests progress without allowing the person experiencing it to participate consciously in that progress. Higher still is judgment-based afterlife with moral proportionality, where actions lead to consequences, but growth and redemption remain possible. In this framework, suffering is corrective rather than eternal, and reward is not arbitrary. This theory ranks well because it preserves moral seriousness without eliminating compassion. It treats existence as an educational process rather than a trap, allowing identity to continue developing beyond death. The self matters, choices matter, and meaning extends past a single lifetime. Its weakness lies in implementation. The concept of judgment risks rigidity if not paired with deep understanding of context, trauma, and limitation. Still, it offers a universe that is at least trying to be just. Near the top is integrative afterlife theory, where consciousness survives death and enters a state of expanded understanding, gradually integrating experiences from life without immediate reward or punishment. In this model, the afterlife is less a courtroom and more a place of comprehension. Individuals reflect, process, and evolve, retaining identity while gaining perspective. This theory excels because it honors emotional truth. People are shaped by confusion, fear, and love, and growth takes time. Meaning is not assigned externally, but emerges from understanding oneself fully. It avoids the cruelty of eternal punishment and the emptiness of static bliss, offering instead a continuation of becoming. At the top of the ranking is progressive consciousness continuation, a theory in which identity persists, memory is preserved, and existence remains dynamic, relational, and creative. In this view, death is a transition rather than a conclusion, and the afterlife allows for continued learning, connection, and contribution. Meaning does not end, it deepens. This theory ranks highest because it best explains why consciousness feels purposeful rather than accidental. It allows for justice without cruelty, peace without stagnation, and eternity without boredom. Most importantly, it treats existence as something worth continuing, not because it is easy or pleasurable, but because it remains meaningful. Ultimately, the best afterlife theories are not those that promise comfort or fear, but those that respect complexity. A good theory allows people to grow, to understand themselves, and to remain morally relevant beyond a single lifespan. Whether any of these theories are true is unknown, but ranking them reveals something important. Humans are not just afraid of death. They are afraid of meaninglessness, stagnation, and injustice. The afterlife theories that endure are the ones that attempt, in their own imperfect ways, to answer those fears without betraying the value of consciousness itself.